Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. It's Friday. We made it. We made it through the week. And this was a strange week. A little stressful, not too stressful. Maybe stress isn't the right word. Strange. Strange happenings. Things felt a little off kilter for me, at least this week. Just weird. I don't know. Something weird. Nothing particularly happened, nothing too crazy, but just a strange feeling in the air that I can't quite describe. Anyway, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope your week was manageable. Okay. We're ready for the weekend. It came up fast too. The week was a bit too fast for me. I got a lot going on. But I hope you're doing okay. Okay, so we have a few things to talk about today. This is channeling messages. Channeled messages. Words are also hard for me this week. I'm channeling three people. Octavia Butler, very famous writer, African-American writer. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt. Okay. So we're going to do that, and hopefully we can get through it. Hopefully I can connect. If you want a personal reading, you can click more in the description of this video, okay? Or you can email me moonlightergy15@gmail.com and I will send you the link, okay? Also, try to send me some links. If you have a small business and you want me to promote it, send me the link. Email me moonlightergy15@gmail. I will promote you, or a YouTube channel or a podcast. We need to support each other, so that's what I'm trying to do, okay? What else? Oh yeah, go check out the Indigo Corner with Dr. Ken, please. Okay. He's nearly there to 500. If you guys haven't checked him out, please check him out. His gifts are growing. He's doing some really good videos. He does a really cool live on Saturday. Check him out. He also offers personal readings, so go check his page out. Ask for a personal reading. Subscribe if you haven't. He's very, very talented, very gifted, very natural, very creative. Okay? Shout out to Trish, Archangel Channel. Please go check her out as well. Shout out to Shelly, Healing Truth, Tarot. Hello, Shelly. And many more. If I missed you, I apologize. Anyway, let's get into it. Everything I say here is for entertainment purposes only, informational purposes only. Everything I say is alleged, even in the comments, okay? All right, let's start. That was a mouthful. Let me take a deep breath. Okay, let me drink some water. First person I would like to connect to is Octavia. Octavia Butler. Let's read a little bit about her. For those of you who don't know, I'm a bit ashamed. I have her books in my queue. I have to get to it. I'm just not good at getting to reading. I love reading, but I have to find the time. But I will find the time. Okay. She was a African-American science fiction writer. However, she did not want to be a genre writer. She did not accept that term, but she did write a lot of science fiction books. Okay. Hold on. There's something I was reading that was interesting to me. Okay. It says Butler began reading science fiction at a young age, but quickly became disenchanted by the genre's unimaginative portrayal of ethnicity in class, as well by its lack of noteworthy female protagonist. She determined to correct those gaps by, as Dwight Douglas Kilgore and Ranu Samatrai point out, choosing to write self-consciously as an African-American woman, marked by a particular history that Butler herself referred to as writing myself in. Butler's stories, therefore, are usually written from the perspective of a marginalized black woman whose difference from the dominant agents increases her potential for reconfiguring the future of her society. Okay? So that was, there's more. There's so much more. Look her up, Octavia Butler, okay? But I'm going to channel her. I could feel her. I felt her when I was writing down some questions. She started to come in. I felt it. And I asked her to hold off. Okay, so Octavia Butler. Strong, strong, strong presence. She's saying hello. My nose is itching already. Okay, I'm asking her if I could ask her some questions. She's saying go ahead. She's doing this. Go ahead. Okay. My first question is, what do you think of the current status of the United States? She's saying, first of all, I'm marveling at how strong her presence is. It's like she's all around me. It's very powerful. And so it's distracting me from hearing what she's saying. I'm hearing her, but I'm just like looking at her like, whoa. It's very like startling. Okay, let me focus on her words. She's saying it's unimaginable. She said the current status of the United States is unimaginable. I can't spell. She's saying it's interesting to have come so far. She's saying to have come so far only to be set back in such a way. And she's showing me a picture of Kamala. Whew. To have come so far only to be set back in such a way. And she's showing me an image. And in the energy, I can feel her saying, we had a black vice president who was a female. And she feels very proud of that. She's shaking her head. So I'm going to repeat what she said, okay? The current status of the United States is unimaginable. To have come so far only to be set back in such a way. And she's thinking and showing me Kamala and shaking her head, and is very proud that she was the vice president. How do you feel about Kamala? Was one of my questions. And since she brought her up, I will go there. How do you feel about Kamala? She's very excited. And she's like, she's just said, I'm so excited for her. Why are you excited for her? Interesting. She said, I'm excited for her because she is the truth. She is the one. I'm excited for her because she is the truth. She is the one. She's saying she will set many free. Interesting. She will set many free. Interesting. She's saying she said she will know how to do it. She is prepared for it. She will know how to do it. I feel as though I feel that she has a connection to her. She said, I do. We're both from California. But is it deeper than that? It feels like are you her spirit guide? Are you? She said, I asked her if she was her spirit guide, and she said, I am not her spirit guide. But I guide her. She said, I am not. How do you guide her? She said, wow, I feel like very emotional right now. She said, I'm not her spirit guide, but I guide her. And I asked, well, how do you guide her? And she said, there is a collection of women there's a collection of women looking down at her, watching her, supporting her, guiding her. And she's showing me, I can't quite see their faces specifically, but she's showing me an army of women, powerful women who has passed. And she's showing me her my nose is itching, that's why I sounded strange just now, but she's showing me her mother. It's like flashes. She's showing me flashes of women. This is insane. She said, we are here for her. She said she is being divinely guided. She said she is being divinely guided toward her purpose, which is to lead. She said, I asked her, is it the presidency? She said, it's interesting because she's saying to me, presidency or not, it doesn't matter. Is what she's saying. That doesn't matter. And she's saying she will have the highest, most important seat. That's what she just said to me. And she's showing me an image of I didn't expect this to happen. This is crazy. She's showing me an image of Kamala sitting at the head of a table, calmly looking out at the people sitting around the table with her hands folded, and she's sitting back in the chair, sitting back relaxed. It's like, again, I'm getting this similar message of this goes beyond being the president. Almost like it feels like she's saying this. It's reminding me of what John Adams said when I channeled with him. Almost like she's saying, hold on, let me just ask. She's saying, I asked her, is she going to be president? And she said she will take the seat, but it will transcend. It will be so important because it will happen at a time of great importance, of stress, of doubt in the country, that it'll be beyond just your average presidency, is what she is explaining to me. It will mean so much. It will mean so much. It will transcend what the meaning of being president is, if that makes sense. That's why she was so excited and you know, wow. I don't. She's saying, do not worry. She's being guided and supported. She said, she said, we are her counsel. And now she's showing me like she's showing me an image of a shark and an alligator in the water. Moving slowly in the water. Next question. I'm going to ask about, I wasn't going to ask her about Donald Trump, but I'm going to ask. What do you think of Donald Trump? She said, oh. She said he's not important. He's not something to think of or spend your time thinking of. She's saying to me, I know he makes you angry. But you know, she's saying, I know he makes you angry, but that's crazy. But you know how to deal with people like him. That's what she said to me. Because I saw something, and it just, I'm to the point where I'm not, anything he does doesn't shock me. It's just getting to the point now where it's just annoying. I'm so annoyed and angry that he will not go away. He said he's not important. Why is she showing me? She's showing me somebody on stilts and like calling him foolish, and like this person walking on stilts. But you know, sometimes when people have, I guess they have them covered, but they're not covered. And she's trying to say like he just looks foolish. And she's saying, let him continue to be a fool while he slowly erodes his presidency. She said he will not last a full year. Okay, interesting. I have another question about creativity. How do you feel about creativity being challenged the way it is in this country? And I mean, not just in trying to censor or burning books or, you know, what they're doing. I mean, by AI and people's ability to create. She's saying there are many, you know, she's saying two things. There are many avenues for writers, artists, and creators to show their work. There's many opportunities there. But she's also saying there are challenges because of gatekeeping. She's saying that. Interesting. She's saying I do see. She's saying I do see a world where that won't be. Like she's saying art is free. She's saying that she's saying, like, she just said not a utopia is what she is foreseeing, but close to it when it comes to people expressing to creative expression. You know, she's saying there'll be a lack of harm, you know. Very interesting. Very interesting. She's saying like there will be no barriers like it is now. She's saying things will be set free, like things will be, people will want to turn to that. It's like a big lesson. Whatever we will see with this, with everything happening, whatever we will experience, it will reset when it comes to creativity, when it comes to like creative expression. People will want to turn to that more and more organic forms of creativity. Nothing that's rebooted or recreated. Nice. Okay, that was my last question. I'm going to disconnect now. Thank you for talking to me. She said thank you. Come back. They all say that. Okay. Very interesting. How long did I talk to her for? Okay. Very, very interesting. I think she has her own gifts. I could feel it that she could see things. Very, very wise, very intelligent. She has an open, like curious, adventurous. I don't know a lot about her, but there's this a sense of innocence in her energy, hope in her energy. She is very powerful, a very powerful presence. I couldn't focus at first because of her aura, her energy. Interesting. But what she said was interesting. An army of women, she showed me. Her mother, I saw her mother clearly. And then flickering of different women. Wow. Okay. Wow. That was let me just sit for a couple of seconds. Let me get some water. When I start doing this, now I'm noticing I don't have to write, but the starting off writing gets me into, it brings me into focus. When I was doing it before recording, I would have to write because I'm sharing the messages, but now I'm noticing I'm like locked in, and so the writing, it helps in the beginning because it brings me into focus, but I'm so now focused on the conversation that I don't have to write throughout the whole thing. I'm starting to notice. hopefully I can get to a point where I could just, I know I need to start off though. I need to like at least have one or two questions so I could get into, when I'm doing this, the first few minutes I have to get into it before I'm like fully locked in. Okay, let's do FDR. FDR was for those of you who, I'm sure you know, for those of you who don't know, Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the 32nd President of the United States. Okay, from 1933 until his death in 1945. Was he the president during World War One? I believe so. He was very interesting. He was viewed as progressive as you can be in the 30s and 40s, but he was. He had an unofficial quote-unquote black cabinet where he had black advisors. They were not officially, but they did work in executive capacities for the government, and they were part of his advisors. Although he didn't sign the bill or support it, he was anti-lynching. He seemed pretty progressive from what I read. His wife was very vocal. ELEANOR was very vocal when it came to equality, racism, the violence. She was outspoken, which was considered very controversial. Okay. But there's something that I'm forgetting about her anyway. Something that made me raise my eyebrow. But anyway, let's get into it. FDR, let's contact him. Let's connect to him. Okay, he has a very distinct voice. And it's a little bit loud. Very distinct. He said hello very loud. He's pointing at me. I don't know why you're pointing. He's like the... He said, you have some questions to ask me. Yes, I do. He said, well, ask away. Okay. Mr. President, what do you think of the current status of the United States government? He's saying, I don't know what that is. He said, I don't know what that is. He said, there's always been games on Capitol Hill, but this is a circus. There have always been games. That this is a circus. He's saying you ever heard of, but I can't hear with the last word. You ever heard of a, what is he saying? I hear him saying, you ever heard of a whippet? I have heard of a whippet. But not in the... Don't think he's talking about the dog. You ever heard of a whippet? What? Do you mean the dog? He did mean, he said yes. Okay, what about a whippet? What do you mean? Sorry. He said the government is such like a old white guy joke, I guess. He said the government is like a whippet and they do all this racing to get nowhere. And then he started laughing. Hold on, let me see something. It said he did love dogs. He had a German Shepherd and a terrier named Father. Okay. He had 3 dogs. He loved dogs. That's why he keeps... Okay, that was a good joke. They race to get nowhere. And he's showing me the dog racing around the track, around and around. What do you think of Donald Trump? He said he's a crook. He got very serious. He's a crook. That's how he said it. He said what he's doing to the government is shocking. He said what's more shocking is how they're letting him do it. He's saying He's saying from his own experience, he knew how to be careful with Congress. And he's saying they don't seem to recognize their power. And he's acknowledging, Republicans have the majority, but he's also saying that doesn't matter. Because he's saying they could turn on you on a dime. And I'm saying to him, it seems like a lot of Republicans are fearful of him. And he's just sort of dismissing that too. He's saying, to me what politics, how he understands how politics work. And he's saying, it's like he's saying if you do enough to anger them, they won't support you or anything. It'll be more difficult for you eventually. He's implying that's what's going to happen. He's just like, that don't matter. He's saying, I knew when to challenge them and I knew when not to. And he's saying about Donald Trump, he doesn't understand really how it works. Do you think he'll last as president? He's laughing. He's saying, oh, no. He's saying he's tanking your economy. And he's saying he's doing it. He's saying it's happening at a time where it doesn't really need to happen. There's nothing. Globally, he's saying if with the United States, it doesn't have to be that way because he's using it. He's explaining from his own experience dealing with a war. He said he's arrogant, and he's creating more problems for himself in the long run. What do you think about what he's doing with the Justice Department? He said, I think it's a shame, and he's making a lot of enemies. He's saying a saying. He can't see the forest for the trees. I may make sure that's the right saying, because I'm not good with saying. Yes. He cannot see the forest for the trees. That's what he's saying. He said he's going to learn a big lesson, and they're going to learn a bigger lesson. And he's talking about everybody. Everyone. He doesn't feel, should we be worried as a country? He said, you should be worried. He said you should be worried if it gets to a point where the damage is too great. The damage is done. That's what he's saying. But I don't feel it will get to that place. He's saying America has always been in terrible places. It somehow manages to get out of it, no matter how long it takes. He said, but this is the Wild. He said, but this is the Wild West. He said, right now things don't look good, but they will get better. Wow, he said you just have to hold on. He's saying, no, the reality is the real one. He's saying the real one has to take the power. He's saying interesting. He's saying, that Donald Trump thinks he could do it by himself. And he said he has these people around him that he doesn't listen to. They advise him to do things, but they mostly they just mostly, it's like what I'm trying to explain it the way he's saying it. He's saying they say yes, essentially. He's like he has advisors, but he doesn't listen to them. He does what he ultimately wants. It's like someone will say, someone who has no business being anywhere near the presidency, saying here, let's do this, and Trump will look at it and see how it'll benefit him or make him look, he'll do it. Or someone will, he's saying yes men, someone will, they bolster his arrogance, his self-esteem, I guess. And he'll do these things. Yeah, he has a New York accent a little. I could hear it. He's from Hyde Park. He sounds like he's from, I've never heard how he speaks. And I just wanted to quickly look because it sounds as an accent in New York. East Coast. What do you think of Kamala Harris? He said Trump knew who he was dealing with. He knew what he was dealing with. He says she's a firecracker. She's dangerous to men like him, he said. He's showing me a steel door. And he's saying she's a wall, like immovable. He says she has integrity. He says she's tough. He said she's tough and hold on. He said she's tough and she's gonna come after him. He doesn't know it yet. Why is he holding it? Now he's holding a cigar. Hold on. Hold on. I saw something in his hand, but now he's holding something, smoking. Yeah. He's saying, he's saying, he better watch out. And he's saying he's looking over his shoulder. He's saying he's putting out feelers to see what she's up to. That's what he's saying that Donald Trump has been doing. How is she going after him? He's showing me the black leather folder. Again, that same black folder I've been seeing for months and months and months of her grabbing. And he's showing me that. But it's not opening. He's just showing it, and he's showing me sitting at a desk with this folder in front of her. And he's saying now, I don't know specifically. But she's up to something, he said. And it's not good for him. Meaning Donald Trump. Okay. I asked him, what should the people do? And he said, demand your dignity. Put pressure on them. Hold them responsible. That's what he said. Okay, I'm going to disconnect. Thank you, Mr. President, for connecting with me. Goodbye. He said, thank you for laughing at my joke. Thank you for laughing at my joke. All right, let me take a beat. Let me drink some water. Channel me to Eleanor Roosevelt. Her voice is very distinguished. Let me see what she looks like. I know what she looks like, but sometimes if I see... yeah. She looks young. She's a younger self. Interesting. She doesn't look like her older self. She looks like her younger self. That's who she's younger. That's how I see her. Okay. Interesting. She said you have some questions. You can ask me the questions. Very distinct voice. Distinguished. What do you think of the current status of the United States? She said it's frightening. She said it's more dangerous than ever. And she's saying this because she's saying it doesn't have to be this way. It shouldn't, she's saying... She's speaking about, she's saying a lot of things. She's saying liberty, civil liberties, and she's speaking about dignity, and she's aghast, and she's so upset. And she's, I keep hearing the word migrants, I keep hearing immigration. She's saying it shouldn't be this way. She's saying, this progress. She's recognizing also its imperfection and it's deeply flawed. I could feel that. She's not directly saying it, but I could feel it in her energy. Interesting. And she's saying it shouldn't... She's saying, how could we... She's saying we. How could we still be here in this space with so many advancements? She knows intellectually, I could feel that, but she's speaking and saying all this money, I heard her say, all this advancement, all these new laws and these liberties that we could give others, and it's still being fought over. She's really, she's saying, I'm really disappointed. Interesting. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on immigration and what's been happening? She's saying, she's shaking her head and she's saying, families being torn apart, mothers being ripped away from their children. She's very emotional. she's saying it's horrifying and it's embarrassing. And she's also, it's interesting, and I think it's because of what she feels in my energy, is she's saying, you know, I recognize, she's saying, I recognize the imperfection of the system put in place. And she's saying, I know things like this has always happened in this country. And she's saying, my feelings of it, this outrage of it has all, you know, will always remain. And but she's saying it's different because she's saying it's different because there are supposed to be things in place like due process. You know, there are parts of the system, no matter how imperfect, put in place. Now she's saying it's just nothing there for protection, for dignity, for safety, for care. That's what she is saying. And she's just like, she died in the 60s, and she's just like, it's been so much time has passed and there has been so many changes, but it still is the same issue coming forward. What are your thoughts on the threats towards women empowerment? She's saying, as long as she's saying as long as men exist. Wait. She's saying as long as men exist, we will always, essentially what she's saying is that we will always have a threat. Yeah, that's what she said. She was not saying anything else. She's not saying she hates men. She's saying so long as they exist, there will always be a threat. There will always be a threat. What do you think of Donald Trump? She said he is moronic. He is uncouth. She said uncouth. That man is moronic. She speaks very slowly, it feels like. At least here she is. She's speaking very carefully and very slowly. She said he is a man with no plans. He is going nowhere. She doesn't feel concerned about him whatsoever. She doesn't take him seriously. She doesn't respect him. There's nothing there. There's no feeling toward him. I feel in her energy. Even talking about him is, she's just like, why are we talking about him? You're right. We can move on. What are your thoughts on Kamala Harris? Interesting. She said, interesting. She said there's something, she said, I heard in her energy, but she didn't say that. Something in her airs. That's what she's saying. Something in her airs that makes some people think she's being dishonest, but I can tell you she is anything but dishonest. Or she's said in a different way, but she's saying she's not dishonest. She's saying men dislike her because she doesn't cower to them. She said, I like that she shows people. She's saying, I like that she shows people respect even when they don't deserve it. She says she is intelligent. She's saying a lot of things. I'm trying to catch it all. She is intelligent. She's saying something about dignity. She gives people their dignity. Or she believes in giving others their dignity. She says she was a fine vice president. And now she's referring to other foreign leaders showing her respect because of her hard work. She's talking about that. I'm hearing her say foreign diplomacy. Oh, she said she will be your president, and she said she'll be a great leader. She's saying she'll pave the way for other women. Okay, Eleanor. She's saying it will be a challenge for her, but she is prepared. She kept referring, I kept hearing her say that she's prepared, she's prepared, she's prepared. And when she was referring about her vice presidency, she was saying she's always prepared. She was always prepared. Eleanor kept saying. She's saying she, among many other women, is a great representation of basically saying, she's saying equality. She's saying like she's the standard. This is how you're supposed to be in the positions you get. And she's saying it as a comparison to how you're not supposed to be, essentially. How someone in her position, meaning Kamala, how you're supposed to, what's the word? Not present yourself, but basically present yourself. You know, how you're supposed to work, how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to. She's saying she should represent, because she's saying, you know, she has a great way of, she's not saying great way, she's saying she has a what's the word? I can't think of the word. Words are lost to me. Basically, you know, a great representation of how a leader should be, essentially. Okay? I think that was my last question. So, thank you. I'm going to disconnect now. Okay. All right, guys. Her energy was way less intense than FDR's. There's a sort of softness. There was a softness to her energy. She looked like her younger self. She spoke slowly. Very interesting. She felt very put upon when I asked about Donald Trump. Like, ugh. Like it was scandal almost to talk about him. Because she just doesn't think he is anything to talk about or give attention to, or it was a waste of time talking about him. But that's it. Those are my 3 people. I've really enjoyed this channeling. It was nice. Octavia's energy is incredibly powerful. I will channel her again. It made me speechless. It was like, FDR, he reminds me of an uncle, or an uncle who tells these jokes every now and again, but he knows politics. Interest, I know we can all criticize, I think, people like FDR, and I'm sure there are criticisms about Eleanor as well. Par for the course. They were around during a time where inequality was, even though it's still an issue today, there was a real big issue when they were alive. They spoke up about it. They had their thoughts about it, and people criticized them because they spoke up about it. And so, you can criticize. We could all have our criticisms about these leaders from the past, but I do think, there's some that I don't want to talk to them. But getting their, being able to channel them, getting their perspective, I think is important. And channeling someone like Octavia Butler is important. You guys know how I feel about that. Okay, but anyway, that's it. I'm going to upload this video, and then I'm going to do the second video. Moving forward, I have a lot to talk about there, pull some cards. But I will see you guys real soon. Please like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please comment. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you soon. Like the video. Bye.